You think you know how a tree works, right? Dirt, water, sunshine. Simple. Well, you're wrong. What if I told you there's a tree out there that's been slowly dying because its one and only partner has been a ghost for the last 400 years?
Okay, let's get right into it. The tree we're talking about is the dodo tree, and it evolved to create a fruit so ridiculously tough that it literally needs to be eaten, crushed, and partially digested by an extinct bird just to grow. This is the story of what we call a ghost partnership, and it's a perfect example of how we humans can accidentally lock a species in a biological prison.
So you have to understand this core concept, the ghost partnership. You see, nature doesn't always hedge its bets. Sometimes it makes these incredibly risky all-or-nothing gambles, tying the entire future of one species to a single specific partner. The dodo tree didn't just happen to grow near dodos, it evolved for them. It's a bond of absolute, terrifying dependence.
And here's how that incredible dependency actually worked. First, the dodo would eat the fruit. Then, inside the dodo's powerful gizzard, which is basically a muscular bag of grinding stones, the seed's impossibly thick shell would get scraped and scored. After that, stomach acid would weaken the casing even more. Only after that precise two-step process could the seed, once it was, deposited, actually sprout. Without the dodo, it's just a tiny prisoner trapped in its own armor.
Now, this kind of specialization isn't entirely unique in nature. I mean, look at the fig tree and its own specific wasp. That partnership is a huge success. But the dodo tree's gamble? It was a catastrophic failure. By betting its entire existence on a single flightless bird living on one tiny island, it basically set a time bomb for its own extinction.
And that time bomb went off when a ship appeared on the horizon. When humans landed on Mauritius, they didn't see an ancient, sacred biological partnership. They saw lunch. In less than a century, the dodo was gone, and its extinction kicked off what's called the Long Silence, centuries where not a single new dodo tree could be born.
And here's the truly tragic part. The very thing that made the dodo so successful on its predator-free island was what doomed it. It was completely naively trusting. It had no concept of fear because it never needed one. So when humans showed up, the dodos didn't run. They probably just waddled right up to them. It was a biological disaster just waiting to happen.
So, a quick question for you, and be honest. If you came across a creature that had absolutely zero fear of you, that was completely and totally trusting, would your first instinct be to protect it, or would you see it as an easy meal? Think about it.
For over 300 years, the remaining trees just stood there. They were alive, they were producing fruit, but they were effectively sterile. They are quite literally biological ghosts, the last aging witnesses to an ecosystem that we just casually broke. Imagine that, parents who could no longer have children, just holding on to seeds that would never, ever sprout.
And this is where the story gets a bit cynical. Let's talk about the avocado. Its original partners, giant ground sloths, are also long extinct. The avocado should be a ghost plant too, but it's not. Why? Because ancient humans thought its fruit was delicious, so we stepped in and became its new partner. The dodo tree, on the other hand, wasn't so useful for a snack, so we just let it and its partner die out. We only save what's useful to us. Now, centuries later, we're finally trying to clean up our own mess. Scientists today are attempting to manually replicate a process that nature perfected over millions of years. We are trying to become the partner this tree lost, but we're about 400 years too late.
And our methods are, well, they're crude. We are literally force-feeding the seeds to turkeys because their gizzards are the closest modern thing we have to a dodo's. We're grinding the seeds by hand with rough stones and dunking them in baths of acid. We're using brute force to hack a system that was once elegant and effortless.
And the most heartbreaking part? The dodo tree isn't some rare exception. Our planet is haunted by these botanical ghosts. The Osage orange is still making these giant, useless fruits designed for mastodons that vanished thousands of years ago. The honey mesquite is waiting for a creature called a gumphothir. We are living in a museum of broken partnerships.
We took a bird that didn't know fear and a tree that couldn't live without it, and we shattered their entire world, all for a few easy meals. So that leaves us with one last big question. After we broke the partnership, is it now our job to become the ghost's replacement? Is it our responsibility to be the dodo?
A tree that's been waiting for 4 centuries for an extinct bird to help it have kids? I mean,
Now that's absolutely wild.